Proudly supported by Superior Engineering, Diesel Conversions Australia, and in part by.
So we got the GU Patrol in the shop today, and I need to finish this build off. There's been just a few little bits and pieces that I haven't been able to get done. But first, let me tell you that this thing has been going really, really good. We've done about 4,000 Ks since the conversion. We've done Morton and we've done Glasshouse. The car is performing so well. I'm absolutely stoked with how the Patrol has turned out. But if you guys have done builds at home, you'll know that there's always stuff that is sort of left unfinished. So today, I'm just gonna go through and try and button up the rest of this Patrol and get it ready for the next adventure ahead. Now, I have been tidying up the workshop and I found these boxes here. This is all ready to go into the Patrol. So we've got the Superflex sway bar, we've got a new set of headlights, diff breathers, and a few other little bits and pieces. And if I can, I'd really like to take the Bullbar off this thing as well and get our winch fitted, because if you guys remember, my winch didn't really fit. I didn't actually have the time to rotate the motor that day, but I think if we get the time today, I'd really like to get this 13XP mounted up in that Bullbar. We might have to make a 6mm spacing plate and rotate the clutch assembly on this, and I think it might just fit. So if we can get that done, we get all of this done, the GU will just be that little step further to being complete. So I'm gonna start by doing the headlights. Now, if you guys watched the Glassy episode, this DRL isn't working, and I did try and quickly fix it, but it's really hard to get your hand in there, and I just haven't had time to go ahead and fix it properly. But like I said, in this box there is brand new headlights, and that is because they look so much cleaner. This headlight here is also 15 years old, so the lens is going real yellow, where I got a brand new set off Tech for Tourers in that box there, and it's gonna look a lot cleaner because it's gonna have a brand new lens. They also properly paint the inside of the light with like a 2K paint, where I used a spray paint. If you guys remember that video, it didn't really go down too well. So I'm gonna start ripping those headlights out. You can see they're just gone really cloudy and really yellow. That's just because they're quite old, like I said, but I'm gonna start by ripping those out, and then we'll get these new Tech for Tourers lights in, and these things are bloody clean, boy. Before we do start, I wanna show you guys that I bought this 7 kilowatt aircon here, and I am extremely excited to get that up, and we are actually doing full insulation on the roof and the walls. We're dry sheeting the walls, and the aircon is gonna go right up there where that ceiling fan is. That way we can come in, flick the aircon on, we can work, and it won't be stupid hot. I mean, this place is like an oven sometimes. We can get more builds done, be more productive, and it's something that I'm just really, really looking forward to. But anyway, just want to quickly show you that. Let's get started onto the Patrol. I was really hoping that the Bullbar didn't have to come off, but I think it has to come off. Right, I've unbolted the Bullbar, so if I move that out a bit, should be able to. Right, that's one light. That's two lights. Two lights. Man, look at that. Look at the difference. Look how clean that is, and that's got a plastic wrap to protect it. I'm not gonna take that off until we fit it up, just in case I scratch it, but that is a night and day difference of how good that light looks. Now, we're not only just doing this for looks, although it is a massive bonus at the moment. We are doing this because this is their new technology at Tech for Tourers. It's a much simpler wiring setup, and it doesn't have those large ballasts that are in my car at the moment that I'll have to pull out. But I'm gonna go ahead and start wiring this up. It is a little bit different to the old style one, so I do have to remove everything that I had wired in there already, which is fine. So I'll just quickly rip all that out. And over here is all the controller and stuff. So you can see that is quite a big cooler thing there. We've got a box there, and that gold ballast thing up there, that all has to go. And this just looks much simpler. There's only like 2 boxes to mount, a few wires to run, and we'll have these nice tidy headlights in the GU. This is the difference of wiring. That is a lot, and we're simplifying it to just this, which is mint. Right, I've got most of that wired up in there. It looks like a bit of a mess, but I would just want to test it before I tidy everything up and mount the light. Right, so I'll just go ignition first. So that's good. Ignition is our DRL, which is exactly what I want. If you go to Parker's, should do Yep, the middle one. And if we go to headlight, beautiful. All right, so it's time to put all that back together. Right, these lights are all fitted up. They look so much freaking clearer. It's actually unbelievable. All that's left to do is to test them, so I'm gonna do that now. So that's the Demon Eye. That's with the red on and the DRL on. That looks pretty freaking cool. I don't really drive around with any color, so what I normally drive around with is just the Parkers off and just the white DRL on, which is this now, which looks like that. You can see it's just that daytime DRL running. It's mint that both sides are now working again. Stoked about that. It's definitely a lot less wiring involved in this style of light, and they are available now at Tech for Tours. So if you want to jump online and grab a set of lights, now is the time to do so. If you got the money, I definitely recommend buying the complete light from them because their paint job is 10 times better than what I did anyway. So actually I've also got this to show you from Tech for Tours as well. I've had this for a while. I put it in a couple months ago. I've had this in for a couple of weeks now. It is so friggin' nice to drive with. I got the suede and I got the brushed carbon, and that looks so nice, and it's so much better than the janky old wheel that we had. I know it's a little bit flash for a full drive, but having those little bits of luxury definitely make it a good experience driving it. So now that those lights are done, and boy, they be looking good, we are going to move on. I've got the Bullbar still unbolted, and I think that while that's unbolted, we may as well try and fit the winch up. If you didn't see, when I was fitting this Bullbar up, we did have a lot of clearance issues. I've got the Runva 13 XP, it's quite a big winch, and it was actually fouling on the side here where the motor goes. So I did grind that down that day, and with 8mm spacers, I did actually manage to make the motor fit, but then my clutch disengaged, whatever you call that, clutcher thing. It's definitely not what it's called, but whatever that is, was fouling on the front mount intercooler. What we need to do is cut 2 bits of steel plate right here, and I'm going to drill those out to suit the winch footprint. So we'll have 2 pieces like that. Then we can sit the winch over that, and that'll give us the correct spacing. Then we also have to rotate the clutch a little bit, but then I'm hoping that it will fit after that. I want to make a footprint of this winch here. So I now got to cut 2 bits of steel. I'm going to put some holes in it, then we can get this into the car. Do not cut in Crocs at home. It is really bad and it hurts. Now I'm going to use the fair lead here to get the holes perfect. That way it's perfect. I've just painted those bits of steel, and while they're drying, I'm going to rotate this clutch. Now this part here was smashing into the front mount intercooler, so I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees until it's coming out here. Well, that was pretty easy. It's all rotated. I've tested that it works and disengages and engages. How I'm going to put this in is I'm actually just going to pull the Bullbar back until the front bolt becomes the back bolt, that there. I'm actually just going to put 1 bolt in that, and I'm going to see if I can actually lift the winch in without taking the Bullbar off, because once that winch is on this bar, it's actually very, very heavy. So fingers crossed we can do it that way. Otherwise, I'm going to have to wait until someone can give me a lift. Right, the winch is all bolted up. Now, thank you to Jesse Gleason for showing me how to do that. He said that this is a very common thing when it comes to like comp trucks and stuff like that, is spacing the winch off the Bullbar. So thanks for that. Now, the next problem is mounting the control box, which may be a little bit harder than the winch. So in order to get power to the winch, we need to mount this control box here, and it's not too many places that I can think of to mount this. So I think I'm gonna have to get the welder out, make something up, and try and mount it to the left of the motor there. Ideally, I don't want to obstruct the intercooler any more than I am, and I'd probably like it around about this area here. Now my winch has a remote control, but if the remote control fails, you need to put in the plug-in controller. So we do still need to access that potentially. So I've got to make sure that we can get to that. So I'm gonna figure out how to mount this up and then I'll get back to you. Right, so the controller is all hooked up and mounted right there. I did have to make just a little bracket and then I welded it onto the bracket that comes with the rumba. So that works out pretty well. You can see my two little bolts going through the side there. It's kind of the best spot at the moment because when you come down here, you can see that when I'm driving into the wind, it's not gonna block off much of the intercooler at all. And it's kind of just tucked away from all the weather and stuff like that. Ideally, I would have liked to have hidden that completely, but you got to work with what you got sometimes, and I think that's actually a pretty good spot. I've also wired everything up so you can see this comes up here, one to the negative, one to the positive, and it goes through our winch isolator here from All Good Offroad. Now the only thing left to do is to test it. So we've got a red light, in and out. Man, I absolutely love having this remote. It's so sick to be able to use that from inside the cab. So turn that off, winch isolator off, and that is the winch finally installed. So the next job on the agenda is going to be putting this Superflex sway bar in. Now I've had this ever since we put the lift kit in, but we've got these huge big brackets that bolt to the chassis, and then we've got our sway bar right here. Now the reason that I haven't put it in yet is because I'm lazy, so I'm going to do it today. There hasn't been many cars that have had any sway bars in, so I really want to put this in, just see how it handles, see if it's any better. Jeff and Nathan actually told me when we went to Glasshouse that a lot of people don't run a front sway bar, but always run a rear sway bar because it kind of holds the car level on the track. But I just want to feel how the front sway bar feels on the road. I also want to get this engineered, which means that we do need the front sway bar in. Superior can engineer this on 35s as well at the moment, so I would really like to try and get that done. So I'll go ahead and start ripping everything off. You can see the old sway bar bracket right there, so we have to take that off, mount the new ones on there, and then fit up the Superflex sway bar. Out with the old, in with the new. Right, so I've got the mount bracket, whatever you want to call it, that is bolted up to the chassis. So it's time to get under there and put this sway bar up. Now these are the end links. I've just quickly assembled these. So these will go on each corner like that, and we will have a front sway bar. Then we need to put our new bushes on, which also come with the kit. So they'll go right about here, but you do need to keep your old clamps. I actually have mine up here. I've had them up there for ages. So these brackets here will actually bolt the sway bar to the radius arms underneath there, and then we put the end links up to the bracket that I've just bolted on. But the really good thing is it's got really quick disconnect. So if you do want to disconnect your sway bar, you can just pull the pins out. You can even just pull it out on one side and your car will go back to full flex. I could be wrong, but I believe that the amount of flex is 10.5 inches of travel with this front sway bar in. We only have 10.5 inch front shocks, so I don't think I'm going to be losing out on any travel. I don't think this is going to be binding up at all. So, but enough talking, let's get under and get it fitted up. Right, so it is now the next day. I had some gardening to do yesterday, so we had to give up. Now I've got the front sway bar in, it's all nice and tight. So the only thing really left to do is pop a bit of grease in it and test it. But before we take this thing out for a test drive, I want to get the aircon sorted. Now I've got this special fitting here off Mike Widgery, so big shout out to Mike for sending that out to me, and a bit more hose. He's actually sorted out all my fittings, which is awesome. Now this Patrol has rear aircon, so under here there's actually a line just above that sway bar there, that black line right there, that actually goes up, it tees in right about there, and then it connects into the firewall and then tees back out to the AC pump. So what we need to connect today is the condenser, which I've got taped up in there. And typically on a ZD30, the fitting comes out here, and I didn't want a hose to shoot across the airbox. It just looked really silly. So Mike has sent me the fitting to aim it down, creep under the airbox and up into that AC pump. Right, that is the aircon done. You can see, got the fitting in there. It goes up under the rad support, comes up and over. I've actually decided to loop it round so the fittings are facing the same way on the AC pump there. I think that looks a lot better rather than one kind of coming over this way. So now that that's all ran, I do need to pull it out so that it can get crimped in a machine. Then I can put it all back in, we can fill it up with gas. That definitely won't happen today. I'll call Joshy through the week, get him out here, fill it up, and then fingers crossed we got no leaks. So that is the aircon belt sorted, and I've got the lines off over here. Now it looks a little bit tricky, that's just because we've got the rear aircon, but it goes firewall down to the back, and then it tees off to the compressor, and then this line is from the condenser to the compressor itself. So it's pretty simple, but at the same time it's a little bit technical. I don't know if any of you guys remember, but on the factory ZD with rear aircon, there's like an aluminium tube that goes down beside the firewall. Now I broke that tube and it leaked all the AC stuff out, and I actually tried to get that welded and it didn't fix it. So that's when I actually found Mike, and he sent me out everything that I need to convert it to these hoses. The good thing about the hoses is you can actually get them into where you want to do it. You can run them over stuff, under stuff, and make it really custom and tuck all the lines away, which I really like. Now the next thing I want to do is wipers. These wipers that are on the car have been really bad ever since I bought the car. And when I bought the car, I bought these wipers, but I never got around to fitting them. So let's get them on the car now. I kind of feel like wipers are one of those jobs that you always forget how to do. I've done so many wipers, but every time I go to do it, I get confused at how the brackets go and stuff. So we'll see how we go today. See, this is what I mean. You get like 10 different fittings. I never know which fitting I need. That it? Come off. I think that's it. These style ones definitely look a lot better than the factory ones. You can see the factory one there is actually falling apart, but they look a lot better anyway, a lot more sleek. A lot more sleek on the Patrol. That looks so much better. And also, it's gonna work better too. Well, I think that is everything that I wanted to get done today. So it's time to go for a drive. I really want to see how that front sway bar has affected it, and you guys haven't really been in the car much, and I've got a few things to do anyway, so let's get the GoPro, get in the car, go for a drive. Right, let's test out this front sway bar. Now coming up to a roundabout here, I can actually already feel that the car is a lot stiffer, but I used to have a heap of body roll at the front. I'm gonna go pretty fast. That is so different. That's actually crazy how different that is. Coming up to another roundabout. Let's have a feel about this one. Oh dude, that is so different. That is so different. I mean, it still feels like a full drive obviously, but compared to what it was, it used to kind of really roll you right over. See this roundabout? Going pretty fast too. I would have never been able to drive that this fast. That is definitely doing its job. It just feels like a normal car. Like you hop in a normal SUV, full drive, whatever. That's what it feels like now. And we're 4-inch on 35, so that's pretty cool. Pulling up with the servo. Fuel is still $2.20 a litre, which absolutely sucks, but Luckily we went the 4J and we didn't put in like some really thirsty motor. I'm actually getting like 10 litres to the 100, so pretty stoked about that. At 300 horse, I think that's pretty good. So I'll get some fuel and I'll be back. Can't go to 7-Eleven without getting a coffee. Man, it's honestly so hot in here. I'm so glad we're getting that aircon sorted. Merging onto the highway. Jeez, this thing's fast. I actually think I've done about 5,000 Ks in this already, which is crazy. But it's still so much fun to drive, and I'm still happy with the conversion. Having the auto is sick too. It's my first auto full drive and I am loving it. Right, I think we're pulling up on this place. I don't think I've ever been here before to pick up a parcel, so I've got to figure out where to go. I honestly have no idea what this stuff is. No idea. Right, now I need to go and see an accountant because I haven't done my taxes yet. Always do your taxes. Never don't forget. Right, back in the shed, and that is actually going to wrap it up for today's episode. Now, we didn't get a heap of new stuff done, but at least we tidied up everything that I had laying around. I was going to do diff breathers as well today, but I decided that I'm actually going to save that kit for the GQ. So yeah, I'm stoked to have the new headlights done. Front sway bar feels freaking amazing on the road, so I'm stoked to have that done as well. But next week, I'm hoping to start the shed transformation. That might take me a couple weeks, so I might not have an episode out for at least a few weeks, but we will try and get it done as quick as possible. It is just way too hot to work in here at the moment. It's actually killing me, and the rest of the year is meant to be really hot as well. So yeah, that is actually going to wrap it up for today's episode. I definitely filmed this a little bit differently. It's a bit of like a vlog style episode in comparison to my other episodes. A little bit different, but this is much easier and more natural for me to film, so I figured I'll just give this a crack for this one. Now, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.